Good morning. This is your daily dose of complete health with your local chiropractor, Patrick Hogg. So, I wanted to ask a question about which part of our body, or which organ, or which system is most vital or most key in the survival of us staying alive. Now, quite a deep question because a lot of people really don't ever think about it. They don't think about what systems are going on inside of our body that are constantly having to work just to keep our body regulating. Now, our body is a hugely amazing self-regulating system that is constantly having to adapt to its environment to ensure that everything is working properly. So if I asked you which organ or which sets of organs would be most important for our survival, and most commonly when I ask clients or patients this, the most obvious answer would be the heart and the circulatory system. Or you obviously couldn't survive without food and water, so maybe it's our digestive tract. Or we can't survive without oxygen, so obviously our lungs would be most important. However, all three of those systems, your circulatory system, your pulmonary system, and your digestive system, none of them can work if there isn't another system that is telling it what to do, which is our brain and our nerve system. Now, our brain and our nerve system does rely on all the other systems to work, so it relies on oxygen in the lungs, or lack of oxygen in the lungs, telling us how fast we need to breathe to make sure we're getting enough oxygen in. If you start running, and your brain doesn't detect that your lungs are starting to get low in oxygen, you will run out of steam very, very quickly. In the same sense that if we start to work our muscles and our brain detects that change in muscle activity and does not then send the signal to the circulatory system in order to actually redirect that blood flow around the body to the areas where needed most, those tissues are going to run out of steam very, very quickly. And if our brain never detects when the stomach stretches, when it's absorbing food, we'll never know that the food is there and we'll never properly digest it. And as a result, we'll never absorb those nutrients that we're looking for, or we'll start to get stuff like constipation or other things that would occur if our colon wasn't contracting and moving and digesting that food, stuff like malnutrition, etc. So the question is which system is really the most important in your body? And obviously chiropractors will always tell you it is the brain and nerve system. Why? Well, because the brain and nerve system is the system that controls every single organ and function within your body, from the senses when you touch, to the pain that you feel, to the organs that you control, to the movements you create, to the ability to see, hear, taste, smell, are all controlled by the brain and the nerve system, and nerve signals coming in and out of the brain and adapting to the environment. This is how our brain and nerve system works. And this is why it's so vitally important that we look after our brain and nerve system, because without looking after our brain and our nerve system, this can seriously lead to multiples of different dysfunctions around the body with whatever part of the body. Now, most doctors and nurses, and potentially other people as well, would have heard of stuff like Calderon syndrome, which is a compression of the nerve system in the lowest part of the spine, which causes problems with the legs as far as pain is concerned, low back where pain is concerned. But we'll also see changes in motor function. There'll be weakness in the muscles and the joints in the lower back and legs. But also we start to see changes in stuff like bowels and bladder habits. Why? Because the brain has been disconnected via the nerve, because the nerve has been compressed in the lower part of the back. And so all three of those organs can start to become dysfunctional. Muscles, sensories, organs. So again, if I ask you the question, which part of the body is most important, we always have to come back and look at the brain and how that starts to have an impact on our health. This is Patrick here from Complete Health. This was your daily dose, and I'll speak to you guys again very soon. Take care for now.